Oh.
There you go.
Hey, it's just so Trish, and it's
Abby from FulltimeWifeLife.
okay. So
We got it right that time.
We got it right that time. She's our special guest on the VHC. She's my special guest today. An impromptu collab of Moments of Crisis. If I'm gonna put a link below to the video the last time we were together at the homeschool convention. I'll put that link down here. So just a little background, as you know, I have what I've got going on with the loss of everything, and Abby and her family and friends had to do a 5-hour notice that she had to evacuate and not needing a place to go. So today we're kind of going to talk about just being in crisis, and when it feels like God takes everything away, I will tell you what, He will never take away everything that you don't have something to give. So here we go. Okay, so as you know, here's what went down, because we had a hurricane party, and we are safe. Just so you know, we are safe. Oh my goodness, Abby and I are both. We've just been sitting in awe, comparing comments and emails and just love that we've been getting. Some of you have been over amazing. I mean, goosebumps.
There are people in other states who are just offering
so much and giving so much.
Yeah, I can't. I'm totally.
We were goosebumping this morning and just comparing the love that you guys have and that you've given us, and it has been. I don't know. I'll start crying.
Everything from offering a place to stay, to offering financial help, to offering prayers, and just people honestly checking in and wanting to know, and in the middle of the storm, how are you guys doing? I can't stop thinking about you. I've been up all night praying for you and your family.
And listen, God heard them. God has been so good to us, and I know it is so much with you. I will tell you right now, we are actually sitting in this beautiful place. This is my parents' house. So we all evacuated over to my mom's house, and she is on the West Coast, and we had some wind. We got some, here it comes again. They're bands. They're called wind bands, or the hurricane bands will come through, and we'll get a good breeze, but it's like nothing. Nothing compared to what a hurricane is.
I know, and we had to evacuate for 2 different reasons, so that's the funny thing.
Right.
My mom's house is like a refuge for all of us right now.
So
funny.
I will tell you what a blessing it is, because, here I'm going through my emotional trials of just accepting and realizing God has a master plan as we've lost things, and just having to make decisions and being kind of caught up in my own grief. And I made that video Wednesday night at 5 o'clock. Abby calls.
I know, and you said, did you see my video? And I think it was 2 hours. I was, after we got off the phone, I looked at it. It had been posted 2 hours ago that we were both in this.
Just crisis. And it was funny because Abby's I don't know what, you were just the hotels are, we got the 5 o'clock forecast, the hotels are full, we have to evacuate, where can we go? I'm just come to me.
Yeah, and I called her to see if there were any hotel. I know she lives in a smaller town, and that most people were heading.
They don't
to
think
the
of our
large
town.
Towns. And I remember at the homeschooling conference her telling me how small her town was. So I called and I said, we have friends who are supposed to stay with us for the hurricane because their house isn't. They've never been through a hurricane in their house, and now the storm is going to be so strong, and it's taken a turn at the last minute, and we have to get out, and we are plus 4 more. So there's 9 of us.
I'm come on. I'm wait, she's not a hitchhiker.
I was are there any hotels in your town? First of all, are there hotels there? Because it's a small town. And secondly, can you call and see if any are available? Because I didn't have time to call.
I'm going to be honest, I'm lazy. It's so much easier to offer at my mom's house than call places.
Well, but then for her to say, just come.
We got it.
Was one huge blessing. But then the second blessing was to be able to say, okay, and then just hang up and not worry about any of that. To just be okay, we're coming. Total peace. No concern. I called my husband. I'm we're going to my friend Trisha's house. And he's okay, she from YouTube? Which YouTube? What? He's do you know? I'm I've met her before. It's fine.
We've met once.
But trying to explain that to our families and to my family friends who were staying with us.
It's I got a homeschool friend coming.
I have this friend, and I met her online, and we're going to go stay. We're not staying with her. We're staying with her mom.
Even better.
But the funny thing is, everyone's just okay. Because
this
in
is what you gotta
crisis,
do.
you just...
Yeah, it's amazing what you accept, and it's like in God's provision. And it was funny too because so when she called and asked, I'm like, come, do you know what I go, I don't have anything, like literally, because did you just watch my video this week? We kind of have a situation, but come, we can make this work, we'll get it done. And so it was really neat. You left in around 5 in the morning, and God just provision was amazing. So they had 12 hours to pack up and hours of sleep, 1 hour of sleep.
We had 12 hours to pack up, get our hurricane shutters up.
And leave in faith that you might have something to come home to.
Yeah, it's seriously, I don't even think that thought hit us until we were on the road. Shuttering up our front doors and wondering if we were going to have doors to open when we came home, if we were going to have a house, was like that emotion hit us as soon as we got in the car and we're walking away. We were like, is this our... We prayed on our front porch and we were like, God, please let us have a house to come home to. And then just got in the car and drove, and that was a really huge blessing too, because had I not called you at the time I called you and knew that like we were taking a different route, it was an easier route.
Because you were like, they were talking like just getting out of your town was 2-3 hour traffic jams that night.
To get to from my town to the 30 minutes it takes to get to the Florida highway was taking people like 4 hours the night before.
Mommy, can I have something to drink?
Yes, here, you can have this.
And
the next morning when we left, because we left it really early, she knew back roads, and she's like, "You're gonna take this highway, don't take this highway."
And like your trek thing gave like all these like little like small town names to all the major roads. I'm like, no, you're just doing this road for this many miles. This road, this is.
You're gonna turn this Dollar General, and then you're gonna.
Yeah, because you know women do directions by landmarks, men do directions by north, south, and road names. I don't do road names. I'm like, here you go. This is what you're gonna look for. This is what you're gonna see. So then at the same time when you're driving, it's like, oh, familiarity. I was told I was going to see this. It gives that, I don't know, women are different.
It definitely helps, yeah.
So they pulled in around 5:30 or 7:30 at my house. And I was like, man, I got the coffee going. Let's make a breakfast. And I mean, bless your heart, because I'm like, you can't pull in the driveway. The driveway's gone. I got nothing much.
The driveway's gone.
We're glamping.
Yeah. But it was so much fun. And the kids were so... You know, just all of our kids, they'd never met.
Never
I didn't bring
met.
Any of my kids with me to the homeschooling
We still
conference.
have not figured out everybody's names for children. We're just kind of like, love ya.
And the funny thing is, a couple of our kids look so similar from the back that I'm like, that's not my kid. Okay, that's not my kid. I've been thinking that's my kid the whole time. Where the heck is my kid on this property if that's not my kid? It's really funny.
And Abby will tell you, we literally have everything on the front in the front yard.
I know.
And God was so good because I'm going to be, okay, so here's where we were talking earlier, and it kind of hit me earlier, sorry, because I said coupon and not coupon. We've been laughing, it's called dialect, and I got it bad. But we were talking, I said, you know, so that morning about 7:30, I'm getting phone calls going, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? You know, I'm getting just so much love poured on me to help me in the situation I am. And I'm like, okay, we're hitting a pause because I've talked to the insurance. We're waiting on the insurance adjuster. And we have to stop what we're doing. So God has given me this pause. We can't really do anything until the insurance adjuster gets there. And I said, and to be honest with you, God has just put me in the path that I need to take care of some evacuees right now. And God is good because in the midst that I feel like I've lost everything, I can see very quickly how much I have to give.
Yeah.
And so then your husband's like, oh my goodness, all this food you're making. I'm like, you don't understand. I have to clean out my pantry. This is less stuff I have to move. And making this big breakfast. Oh, another wind gust. Making this big breakfast, you're helping my pantry out a lot.
So funny.
And so we had this huge breakfast on picnic tables in the middle of the grass. I'm introducing my sweet city dwellers to some composting toilets and outhouses.
My daughter was on the phone with my mom checking in on her late last night. And she's like, I had to go to the bathroom in sawdust.
I'm like, yeah, this is us making do.
My mom's like, where are you? And do you met these people online?
And so from there we headed to my mom's house, and I was able just to pack up stuff. And you know, Wednesday in my crisis moment and having help, I had so many questions, and we were talking about that Like when you're in crisis and you have all these, every decision is so emotionally tied that the decisions are so hard and to orchestrate. And I felt that, it was just amazing how good God was, because I felt that yesterday, and everybody asking me and not having that. Yes, well, I felt that Wednesday, so yesterday was Thursday, and not being in that moment of crisis. It wasn't my crisis yesterday. It was Abby's crisis. Man, my brain could perform. I was just like, I'm going to feed you until you can no longer eat.
She didn't sit down. My husband's like, this reminds me of our trip to Alabama. There's just trays of food, and you're all, and it's just, it was amazing. And you did, like, God just gave you so much
and
excitement to help us.
And I think I hit, after dinner was done, I sat down, I was like, oh, I can't get back up. My body is so tired. But it was just along the lines of, one of the big things I knew, having children and going to a hotel, and you're in the moment of just uncertainty and crisis. Baby, watch out, she's behind you. And, trying to, going somewhere you don't know, and you're trying to watch the weather, and you have just uncertainty, and then trying to figure out how you're going to feed, and then when are you going to go eat something, and your children are hungry, and where are they going to play? And I'm like, we
didn't even know how the weather was going to be over here, because it was supposed to get a little gusty over here too, so it could have been like stuck in a hotel room over here. I know a lot of people from my town evacuated to Orlando, and then Orlando ended up getting hurricane force winds too, so they're in hotels without power. I mean, it's just...
And the other nice part too is you're here, and like before they leave, they're getting all their supplies, so they're not going home and looking for the little bit of supplies that is left. And, it's just, when you're in crisis mode, it's so nice for somebody to kind of step in that's not emotionally attached to the situation and just take over. I mean, that's what I had to ask Wednesday. I had to ask, they're like, what do you want us to do next? I'm like, I just kind of want you to tell me what to do. And so coming right off of that, and with you, I'm like, I'm just going to ask, is there anything you cannot eat? Right. And then let me just start preparing, and the food will be the last thing you need to worry about, and it's just, you will get the beds going, and to be honest, like today, 24 hours later, having that vacation from my crisis has made my crisis no longer a crisis. And I've been trying not to deal with it in a crisis mode, but just kind of like, okay, now we just got stuff to do. It's okay. My emotions are kind of, it's over. We just have stuff to do. It's time to get going. And, I mean, I hate to say it, but it was nice visiting your crisis.
Oh, yeah, I know. And it was so nice to have somebody, to be with a family who doesn't have our same perspective, because I think, like I said, it was the five of us, my husband and I, our three kids, and then my friend
and her three
daughters. And we were all going to be together no matter what, whether we were in my house when the storm wasn't going to be so bad, or whether we all evacuated together. We had to be together. Let's stay together.
Mm-hmm.
And,
oh my goodness! And Abby and her friend are fun. We've been having a good time. We're like, what's your name again? Oh yeah, I like you.
And I think that, it's always better to be with friends, but then to have the opportunity to be with a family who isn't scared watching the news, and who isn't so deeply connected to the crisis that we were having, to have that other perspective was such a blessing. Because last night your mom came in the kitchen and turned the TV off and was like, you guys just need to stop watching the news for a while. And I think had we gone to a hotel,
you would have just sat there glued.
Just sat there. I mean,
and then got irritable because the kids are, yeah.
Well, and the kids were scared too, and that's the other thing. Like, every time we said anything, they'd be like, "What are you talking about, the hurricane?" And we tried so hard to keep them separate from it. But when you homeschool and you have to do everything with your kids, every time you go to the store, you're with your kids. And I mean, if you've never been in a hurricane, you have no idea the absolute pandemonium happening at the stores. I mean, there are limits to how much water you can buy. There's people, everywhere. You need water, batteries, all those sorts of canned foods, and people are just in such crisis mode that people are angry and mean, and it's almost like you're scared to go to the grocery store. And, you can only keep your kids from that so much, because they pick up on everything, and they know, like, Sam's Club isn't usually this busy, and people aren't usually this mean, and why do all these people why are these moms crying over there? Why is everyone looking at their phones? And it's just like
it's just raw emotion everywhere that you can't run away. And to give backstory on my mom, in the house we're in, my mom actually wrote out Charlie, which was a class 5 that went from a class, I think, 2 to 5 in like a course of 3 hours, and it like just veered. They had a 35-minute notice that it was hitting them.
Yeah. And
she remembers, and she keeps giving you guys like, okay, listen, before you go, keep this in mind before you leave us.
Right.
You know, mom's, and of course my mom being my mom, I told her, Abby's like, are you sure your mom's going to be okay? I'm like, my mom eats this up. She does.
Like, we are 9 strangers dropping in on her house at the last minute. Are you sure it's okay? But
and she's just like, here's all the beds. Look, I'm putting on a movie. What do we do next?
I think she's so cute. She had all these beds set up, and she's like, all the kids will sleep in here. You girls get the what'd she call it?
The craft room?
What'd she call it? Like the diva suite or something.
Probably the
something
diva
like
suite.
that. And she was so. You got lost? Oh my goodness! You got lost in this yard.
It is a big yard though.
So it was just, it was so nice to have a different.
And I knew, I'm like, we'll go to my mom's. We'll be well taken care of. So we, the big part that we've really both come out of this is God is never going to take away from you to the point that you can't give. Hold on, baby. And then,
Do you need your mom?
No. We need to make up a rule, like not to go too far away from the house because people are getting lost.
No.
I think
Jesse
y'all are going to be
just
just
got lost
fine.
in the woods.
There's a fence, so just be careful.
It's all fenced
You'll
in.
be fine, okay?
So
Run free, girlfriend.
What are you guys doing over there?
We're not in our time.
my mom's yard is like 2 acres.
Well,
The
and
yard.
like she said, we're like.
I found Bella!
I mean, we are from a beach town, so it's not necessarily like a big city, but it's very like,
tight.
Everyone has like quarter-acre lots, so.
And so
My kids are way out of there.
my parents are on 40 acres, and then the 2 acres that their house is on resembles their favorite place on earth, which is Costa Rica. So it does feel like a tropical paradise.
I know, yeah. They call it the jungle.
And my dad's does landscaping, so he just keeps adding to. But to get back to it, God is never going to take so much away from you. You always hear God's never going to, how does it go?
Oh, people say God will never give you more than you can handle.
Which is a lie, because he always wants you to go to him. And if he always gives you what you can handle, you don't need him.
You just will live your life independently or believing that you can be independent from him and call it, oh, I need God today. And that's not.
My girlfriend always says pulling him out of my back pocket and throwing him in front when I need it.
Sometimes you feel like that. Sometimes you realize that you've gotten into that habit. And I just think there's so much more to the relationship with you.
And there is. And then what I've learned this week is, especially with you and the benefit you're calling, they're all awake now, is the fact that God's never going to take so much from you that you have nothing to give. Because I feel like as children of God, it is in our heart that burns to give.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is so comforting to be the giver and not the receiver.
Yeah.
And humility has struck us deep, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And at the same time, like getting that break to be a giver again in the midst of my crisis was just settling to my soul. It was like, okay, and then just giving that trust to somebody that God's going to put somebody in your way in the midst of your crisis to be in control. Because when you're in crisis, trying to take control of things can be so undoing.
I didn't have any brain cells left to put toward finding a place to go, to put toward what we're going to eat. I mean, we were in such crisis mode. Yeah, like you said, that to be able to say, okay, we're coming there, I'll see you tomorrow, bye, and not ask any questions, not ask, what do we need to bring even. It's just like, we packed a change of clothes and we trusted.
They packed a change of clothes, a dog, and 2 bunnies. They just said, come on.
We're a 4-H family.
Remember, it's 4-H week. National 4-H week. My videos aren't out yet for that. But, I mean, again, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the love and the support that you've given us. We are safe. We have been well taken care of, and we are safe. And now it just comes down to work. Abby and John are going to be heading home today. Sometime today.
We hope so today.
Hope so today.
Our town still has some pretty strong winds, so they're telling us not to come in yet because there's like power lines and trees everywhere. And
the last thing you want to do is go home early because it is a mess. And so they're going to wait on that. But as soon as they get home, they're going to do a update video on what's going on. So you can remember, I'm going to have a link down there to Abby's channel, The Full-Time Wife Life. And you're on the web, your fulltimewifelife.blogspot.com.
Just.com.
Just.com.
More of my updates have been through Instagram. I don't even think I have said anything on YouTube about the storm yet because it was such a need to rush
Well,
out. But
and
I have
Instagram's so quick.
communicating and sharing consistently on Instagram, and that's where most people have been keeping up with me.
And that's at
It's just at Full-Time Wife Life.
Full-Time Wife Life.
And so thank you to all of you who reached out to us too on email and Instagram. I got more messages through
I'm
Instagram.
still learning to be diligent with Instagram. I'm a little social media
I don't know why,
slow.
it's like my go-to. I don't know why. It's
Facebook
it's like
is my
the easiest
go-to.
thing for me. I always forget about my Facebook page.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot more updates on Facebook, but I'm going to learn to be more of an Instagram girl.
Well, I just want to give a thought here too before we sign off. But my husband and I, we jokingly always call stuff like this. How long have you been there?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I slept through last night.
You did not.
My husband and I call this God's CoOp, and we usually, I mean, where we live, it's not very common to get hurricanes or weather, or there's not much like danger to our tiny little town. And so we've helped people, and we've been able to give, and we've had a few times where we've needed to receive help or receive a comforting word. And we call it God's CoOp because, you know, in a co-op, it's all about sharing. And you never know when you're going to be the giver, and you never know when you're going to be the receiver. But I fully believe that God will take care of you in any circumstance. And it might not be the need for, you know, physical shelter or, you know, financially. It might not be a need, but there's always something you can give, like Trish is saying. There's always a kind word or a hug or a prayer or just reaching out to somebody can
Or
really
service.
be exactly what someone needs. So by saying God will never take so much that you can't give, it's not even financially. It's being a real
Yeah, I haven't
friend.
offered them any money. I've got none.
Well, I mean, like, you know, not even like,
I mean, it's just cooking breakfast.
right. It's just being a friend, and sometimes that's what.
I mean, or it could have been finding the hotel. It's,
Right.
you know, I always love Gary Chapman's The 5 Love Languages.
Right.
Because I feel like in those 5 things, let's see if we can, I always lose one. Gifts, acts of service, affection, words of encouragement, and quality time.
Mm-hmm.
In those 5 things, you really can meet the needs of everybody.
Right. And I think that
And, you know,
when we think of helping somebody, finances or giving, like, you know, something physical is our first thought, but there's so much more that can be done than just that. And you should never be discouraged if you don't have financial means to help someone, because there's so much more. Sometimes that's the least helpful thing is finances. Sometimes you really need a person or a hug.
I mean, I'll tell you what, like getting my carpet ripped out and having my house packed up in the course of, do I have an ant?
Yeah.
Oh, it's those big ones. I get that all the time.
No panic here, just normal.
Listen, you've seen my yard and my feet. It's pretty. I feel I have an antidote in my skin and blood now. But I will say, like, the 5-6 hours it took for my church family to show up and literally rip my house apart and throw things in containers. There's no monetary value that could have ever done that.
Right.
You know, literally that act of service was just, I mean,
And the memory that will create for you, instead of having a construction company come in and do it, just knowing that you are surrounded by people who care
and
about
with
you.
love.
And who, yeah, and that's how John and I are feeling right now being here. And that's how we felt.
He's looking away. He's like,
That's how we felt because of all of your messages and all of your
just the
just
comfort.
the reaching out. It just really felt like
I had
all of
to-
our needs were met.
I had to
Really
laugh
wonderful.
because I have that video about, you know, don't tell me you're going to pray for me. Pray with me. And oh my goodness, being able to read the prayers. There's one video, I have to link it down below. She was just phenomenal. She's like, Trish, can you get this? And she gave me a video of her praying with me. And I just sat there, and it was so loud in the house, and my eyes are shut, and my ear is to my computer to listen. And I was just like, amen. You know, and I know it was recorded out, but God knew that's what I needed that day. And I mean, just thank you. And it was phenomenal. And it's like you would, and to be honest with you, I would have never thought to do a video of a prayer to send to somebody. And she did, and it was like what my heart needed that day.
That's awesome. That is exactly what you needed.
You know? And it's just, and you know, for me, having my house cleaned out so quickly like that, the following day I had to be on the phone with the insurance, and I had to be on the phone with all these different companies, and my heart could rest because the work part was done for me. You know, I wasn't in that rush to get the work done because the majority of it was done. So like today I can get back to it.
Right.
And not
It
a
just
big
shows you that God's so personable.
Right.
He's so in the details.
In the
He
details.
cares so much
He
about
is.
the little things, because the little things mean so much to you. We had, like she was saying last minute, we had no idea what we
Come
were
over
gonna
here,
do.
John.
You should come over here because I'm not sure if we can hear you through the wind gust.
Come here. Come here.
Let me tell you, if you did not see John's day in the life after the homeschool convention, it is classic, and he is genuinely him. That is him.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm thinking. No, I was just saying.
And he's much taller.
Here we go. Go ahead. And
No, I was just saying.
is this weird for you?
This is really weird for me. I'm regretting talking. But, no, last minute, you know, when we found out that it was turning toward us and that it was sustained at 145 miles an hour, we had no idea what we were going to do. You know, and we had a family, did you already say? We had a family staying with us who, you know, especially everyone was probably looking to me for a little more guidance on what we were going to do.
Naturally, you were just the man in the situation. It was
And
her and her 3 daughters, and you all the
here
kids. No
I am.
pressure.
The only man.
No
Here I
pressure,
am, I'm
but
trying
here
to
you are.
hold it together, you know.
And my husband's like, hey, you want to come hang out with me tonight at my house? You don't want to be with all these girls.
But so, anyway, yeah, it totally happened last minute. It was the major blessing, and that's what I'm saying, that God is totally
in the
details, and He's so personable. He knew exactly what we needed, and there were no hotels available basically on the West Coast. As far as we knew, all my friends who were in Tampa or Lakeland were staying with people that they knew or hotels that they had booked 2 nights before.
And if there were hotels, the price gouging was crazy, and you'd be paying $300 a night for a room, and we needed 4 rooms with all of us, so it just would have been insane. So do that. She's not editing anything.
The cat allergies are getting to me.
Oh no.
To my eyes.
But yeah, God is totally in the details, because like Trish's church made these big pans of food for them with their situation, what they have
With our
going
situation,
on,
and
it
it
would
was-
have been too
it was
much
plenty.
food for them. And then
That was
you
lunch.
know, that was our lunch when we first got here, and she just had these like huge pans of food, and it was like the bread, the loaves
manna?
and the fish.
The fish
It was like it just kept, there's still food left from that tray in there, and we all ate like kings. It's just
they
it's
might have
amazing.
gained. And it's been fun too, and I keep forgetting because Abby is 4 months pregnant. So she like keeps going to do stuff. I'm like, Abby, sit down. Sit down. You're going to have a busy week. But we better go. We got stuff to do. The kids are getting restless, and
this is really long. Look at that. We can just talk and talk and talk.
they're not going to mind. They're going to be like, thank you. Thank you. So look forward to Abby's update. I will keep you up to date. We are doing our best. And as I always say, peace out.